Right, we'll go back to the final league race of the season in FTRL GT7. It is at Dragon Trail. This track, we'll go through it. It's pretty fun. Once you get... There's one part that's particularly scary, as you can probably imagine if you know the track, but after that it's pretty... it's a nice track. I like it a lot. Just to say set the state of play here, after Spa, the Milka Mongs are in third. I think 11 points behind the... is it the good, the bad, and the ugly? I actually can't remember the team. But it's Lee, Cusker, and I think Jonesy. And I can finish fourth in the standings if I finish ahead of Aaron. And I have to outscore the others basically like 5 or 6 points, or keep that. I have to basically not be outscored by that much essentially. Anyways, here's the qualifying lap. This is not my fastest lap. But I'll give you the run through the track anyways. It's pretty much the same. First section's easy enough. It's just braking for that first part. I struggled with this little part for a little bit in terms of a reference. You kind of just have to feel it really, and then get nice. Not a bad exit there. So this lap is fine. Like it's not anything spectacular. I can't remember what my PB is at this stage. I really should record these a bit more quickly after the event itself, because I forget what the PB is. Anyways, nice section through here to keep it nice and tight to the left and the right and back to the left. Do not do that. The real killer really is this sector 3 coming up here. I of course only had a time for I think 1 or 2 laps because I accidentally spun on my out lap coming up to this section. That corner isn't tough to get right. It's this chicane that's the toughie. I try to take it as tight as I can here to the left and try and do a bit of a lift. But I clattered the barrier as my teammates already done so, and I couldn't get out of the way quick enough. Actually, that's not strictly true. I didn't realize there's another car coming, and I completely screwed up. I actually couldn't. I didn't remember who the car was. Sorry about that. So, yeah, I felt pretty bad after that. I felt a message immediately after qualifying was over. Anyways, we start 6th. Not where I deserve, to be fair, after that, but. Anyways, obviously sprint race here for the last 2, so reverse grid for race 2 as well, so we'll see what we can do. P6 is not a bad starting point, so let's see how we get on. Away we go. Not the worst start in the world for a change. You're going to be in the slipstream of Chubbs. Aaron's on my left. I'm going to be in my mind, I wanted to try and help Will, FTRL Panda, as much as I could, because he's using a handicap, so he's got double points for these last 2 races. And... They'd be crucial. Obviously heading into this race, they're crucial in terms of deciding the battle for second. So, anyways, he loses a few places. Though we're still in 6th. We've got Lee on our left. I have the inside line, so I should be able to hold this, but I want to leave the space as well. And again, on the left-hand side, leave the space. And yeah, we managed to hold that position anyway. So we're going to move on then to layer lap 1. I actually didn't get the best run to that chicane. And that's going to set up Lee for a slipstream and overtake heading down the inside into this last hairpin, which I didn't show in qualifying, but braking marker is pretty straightforward. A couple of differences on line that you could take with this. One of these curves almost launched me during the race. I can't remember what lap. I don't think I actually included it, but I did launch myself into the air off of that last curve there. Lap 2, again, this chicane, man. You just really want to be careful. That wasn't a bad chicane, but Lee had a better one. So he's going to get a good run. And again, he's going to go try down the inside here. That chicane is really the only thing I'm scared of on this track. You don't want to spin. You want to clout the entry. You don't want to clout the exit. And you don't want to spin on exit as well off of one of the curbs. So it's a toughie to get right consistently. So it is 14 laps of fear, essentially, when it comes to this. And 28 if you're adding the 2 races, is to get it right every single time. So I was a bit more conservative with it. I couldn't leave my car down the inside there. I tried, but nothing really doing. Lap 3, what happens here? That's a bad chicane. That's a bad chicane. And Bread is going to get a good run down the inside. So, yeah, in his Patronus livery, very, very nice. I want to get the exit. We could maybe slipstream heading down this main straight, but I actually couldn't get by, so... we fall into 8th. There it is. Boom. That was not what I wanted. I didn't realize I had it in. Anyways, lap 4 of 14. Yeah, we're going to lap 4. There's a kerfuffle in front. Is there? Yes, that goes Lee, I believe. So Lee is round, and that's the danger of that chicane. That's why I want to take it nice and gently. I'd rather go slow than have that happen. That was my greatest fear on this particular track. So lap number 5 again. You can kind of see the theme here developing of where all these are taking place. What happens here? Lap 5. They go flag in front. Right. So 2 cars go off, being T Smith and T Smith 2, and I got myself a penalty, a 3-second penalty for just driving past cars that had crashed. So that's frustrating. That's not on me. That's on the game. That's what am I supposed to do in that situation? That's tough, man. And we just made up 2 positions. We're on the back of bread, and now we're going to lose 3 flipping seconds. So we were looking quite comfortable at this stage, and now it's grinding to an absolute halt. It's really, really tough. So bread escapes. We lose a position then to the to T Smith, the real T Smith. And we lose a lot of time to Panda and such behind. So yeah, that was difficult. That was annoying. That was really annoying. I should be a lot further up the road than I am, and you'll see why this becomes so important later on. So that's frustrating. Lap 8, yeah, not a good chicane. Not as bad though as T Smith, who got that. We got that somehow even worse than I did. So we make up a position there in that regard, but we do lose time to the second T Smith and Panda, of course, as well. So. Depending on Panda, I decided I was not going to fight too much, depending on what came. Another yellow flag in front. This one is that's for Chubbs. So now we're in 4th. Despite that 3, again, I should be basically on the back of bread or close to it, 3 seconds up the road. Instead, there's a number of cars behind. That was not a good last hairpin. That was not good at all. And that's going to give T Smith in his Ford GT a nice chance for a run down the straight, and there's not much I can really do about this. And not that I want to do either. Like, there are some drivers you just have to accept are going to go past you, and if you can stick with them, fair enough. But generally speaking, there are a certain number of drivers I'm not going to be fighting too much here in this division. So you know the ones yourself. So you sit with it and you move on. Now here's the thing, I want to help Panda, but I'm not going to wave him by at this point, because A, I could crash, B, he could crash. So it's more so waiting to see how things are on the last lap. That was really unfortunate. T Smith gets the chicane all wrong. I was still looking good for a P4 or a P5 there. T Smith gets that chicane all wrong. I get it right, but hit him in the part that literally was the worst time in the world. I lose position to Panda. T Smith actually almost helped him back onto the track at this stage. And Lee gets through as well. So instead of sitting in 4th, which I should have been after T Smith's error, I'm sat back in 7th. And that's really frustrating. Between that and the penalty, just, again, like a number of times this season, I feel like I've driven well enough for a good result. But through one circumstance or another, whether it be myself or something else, it just seems to slip away. And that was another, I could have been fighting for a P3. I don't think maybe I could have got past bread, but I'm fighting for a P3 or in a P4, and difference between that and the P7 is pretty big. So I was pretty frustrated coming across this finish line for the first race, because I felt like I drove well, but circumstances got away from me and I couldn't control. So frustrating finish. Aaron got himself P2 though, which is great, and Will got himself double points for P4. So fantastic team result in that way. So we're making up points a lot already, and there's no Jonesy, there's no Cusker either, so it is Lee basically lifting the weight on his own essentially. So race 2 then, I think we're starting from P5 or is it P4? But yeah, that P4. But the mindset heading into this race was I was quite frustrated, and it's last race of the season, full send, let's go. And we go. Decent start, to be fair. Actually, very good start. So we're going to pick up the slipstream of the second T Smith. You can see Beanbag, I found out, is Mikey. So that's I think that's Mikey. So yeah, we figured that out at the very least. We figured out who is what. We figured out one identity at least. A little bit of Chubbs coming out a little bit there on lap 1 as he pushed off his position himself. That's fine. T Smith is down my inside. So again, same rules apply, and I'm on the outside. So I'm going to hold my line to an extent, but he gets a better run through that section there. So he goes through. I have to be careful. There's Panda close to me as well. I almost closed the door on him by accident. So moving on then to later, lap 1. coming through this chicane of death once again. Get nice and easy. Not a bad chicane, but I did hit the wall and exit, and that just loses me a little bit of speed, and that's going to allow Will to go through then. So that's fine. Like, if my teammate goes through, that's fine. Again, just don't be held up, so to speak. But the race is too long, and there's too many, too many trips with the chicane to really. I got a little bit of a shove there, not too bad really, but a bit of argy-bargy stuff between myself and Lee, and we got by. I actually didn't even know who it was. Was it Pagani that spun? I think it was Pagani. I'm not sure. Maybe it was Chubbs. Actually, I think it was Chubbs that I look at this, but. Anyways, we stay in P5 then, but happy enough that Will has got, he's got double points, and I'm aware of that. Oh, bad turn one. But thankfully we don't lose out as a result. So Lee's going to sit behind that curb. You have to be careful on that one. You saw Will get up on that. You have to be careful on that curb. Don't get too wide. Messy chicane, bit of a rough tumble, but is that going to cost me a position? It's going to allow Lee in the slipstream again. He had good runs off of that chicane, other than that one lap in race one. But I mean, like, this is like the third or fourth time he's challenged me into this last hairpin, and he's going to get the move done the inside on this occasion. And I know I've got Pagani behind me, and he's very, very quick. I'm going to try and come back at Lee here if I can, but I just couldn't. I couldn't get into the slipstream and pull out enough to make a run down to this first turn. Like, I'm not comfortable enough to dive bomb yet. Certainly, like you might in F1, but I'm too far back in this case. Lap number 3 of 14 coming through. Yeah, not a bad chicane. Oh, tight margins on exit. Panda Will gets a bad run through it, and he's going to come through. Pagani's on my ass as well, so I have to be careful. Leave the space, and yep, side by side still as we head out through the last corner, heading onto this main straight. Then lap number 4 kicking off. Let's see what he does. Again, if he comes, I will not fight it. But for now, he's sitting back and just waiting for them. I don't go defensive here, to be fair. Again, it's just, you really have to minimize losing time in these races, and all of that really matters. And I'm not going to fight a losing battle with Pagani and lose myself time. Not when the field is as bunched as it is. There's no point in that. Mikey then goes off. So that's a position gained. We're back up to P5. So we're running well. Aaron's had a bit of a shocker in this one, sadly. That's why he's not come through the field. I think he's had 2 offs by this stage. But he got himself a podium in race 1, so, fair play. Lap number 5, again, only on lap 5. What happens here? The yellow flag coming through. So that was the second T. Smith who had an off. And I had a poor run through there. I got my shifts all wrong, so that allows Panda through then. So we're looking good, though. Lap 5, we're running 4 and 5, and that's looking at good points here for the team. So yeah, let's just keep with it. Again, that chicane, man, it is scary. You see Will goes off the track a little bit there, but not enough to where I'm going to be putting him under pressure heading down into turn 1. Lap number 6, again, guess where? You can see where the action really is. It's a tough chicane, and that's exactly why I didn't want to let anyone through until like maybe the last lap or something, because yeah, for that exact reason, possibly, that one of us does that and then it doesn't matter anyway. So that was more so why. So we make a position there. Lap 4. And the race is pretty quiet after that, to be fair. Like, we did stretch away, and then Pagani goes off at the second to last lap. Now we're in P3, so finally having track positions paid off. We've managed the gap from behind. Chubbs, we were the one who was managing a gap for the whole race, mainly just managing the chicane. And ladies and gentlemen, lo and behold, lap 14 has suddenly arrived. We have managed our gaps. We've kept it consistent. We picked up the pieces, and lo and behold, at the last race of the season, we're going to finally get what I feel like I've had coming for a little while, and what I've deserved in some regards as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to finish in a fucking P3. That is exceptional stuff to finish the season. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Brilliant, brilliant stuff. We'll end up finishing. I actually lost a place at the end there, so he ended up finishing 7th. Aaron a bit further down, but 2 podiums in these 2 races. I think we all got personal best results. I think Will was 4th was the best for Will all season. 2nd, I think, equals Aaron's best, I think, from Road Atlanta, and 3rd is my best of the season after finishing 4th in Daytona. So yeah, happy days, happy days indeed. And that's excellent, obviously, for the championship as well, which we're going to have the final standings here for the championship as well. In a second, we're going to have a quick look at the replay. I think this is from race 1. Yeah, this is from race 1. Again, I know the chicane was going well, and that could have been a P4 then. So I was to get P3 after that, after this incident in race 1, where I had a P4 P4, P5 basically, not set, but close. We're fighting for it. It was pretty tough. You can see the error that T Smith makes, and yeah, help him on his way again. So, anyways, yeah, but thankfully all that can be forgotten with the race 2. Here's the final standings. He actually managed to hold 4th in the end. So after Aaron's race 2, he actually managed to keep 4th somehow. Like I had 2 handicaps and he didn't. Not that my one at Road Atlanta went particularly well. Deep Forest was okay. I think I could have got more from that one, to be fair. But yeah, happy days. P4 in my first actual what I call my debut season in Gran Turismo 7. Really happy with. I put a lot of time in to be competitive at a lot of these events. Didn't always go my way in some regards, and again through driver error or some other circumstance. But anyways, and that in the end is a pretty comfortable P2 for the Milk and Mongs as well. So yeah, 464, 2 champs, 1 chump, doing the honors there for top. I think that was Pagani, T Smith, and I actually can't remember off the top of my head who it was the third car, because this season was a while ago now. But yeah, happy days, happy to finish second. We set out third from the beginning of the season, so to finish second in the end heading into the last race we were third as well. I know they didn't have the Cusker and Jonesy there for Lee, but anyways, that's going to do it then for that's the season. So yeah, it's been really enjoyable. I had some really fun moments. Daytona was a blast. Race 2 there was good fun. The race Deep Forest was fun as well, even though I was getting stuck in the pack a bit in 4GT flipping central. Spa was good for the chase, even though I made the mistake. Driving in anger after that mistake, and just being really consistent and seeing myself make up the time on the likes of Panda and Lee in front. That was good fun as well. But yeah, it's been an up and down season with a lot of learning, and hopefully into this next season, which a lot is changing for next season. A lot is changing. The format's changing. The teams are changing. A lot is changing. So yeah, we're gonna have fun with that. But that's gonna do it for this season, this edition of FTRL Gran Turismo 7. Thanks for joining me, and yeah, until next time.